Okay, next let's talk about Sabbath and slowing down. Now, this is the part where I've talked about confession, so I must confess. I am in a 4-week span right now where I have no idea how I'm going to Sabbath, if I'm really honest. So I know what I'm in the middle of this 4-week span where I'm like, the rhythms and the practices of Sabbath that I and my family have built up, I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this. And I feel it. Some of you have asked, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm here. And so I teach this not out of like an abundance of Sabbath and slowing down. I teach this out of, I know what it's like to have it, and I know what it's like to not have it. And so let's learn this again together. Genesis chapter 2. So the heavens and the earth and everything in them were completed. Primarily right before that, man and woman. On the seventh day, God had completed his work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all of his work that he had done. God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, for on it he rested from all of his work of creation. Check this out. The first human experience was Sabbath. The first human experience was witnessing Creator God rest and being ushered into that rest. Sabbath, day 7, right after humans were created. Man was created to live from a place of Sabbath, delight, and rest in God's place. We were created to live from a place of rest, from a place of peace. Exodus 20 says this, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You're to labor 6 days and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You must not do any work, you, your son, daughter, your male, female servant, your livestock, or your resident alien who is within your city gates. For the Lord made the heavens and the earth. So it's drawing back on the story of Exodus, the sea and everything in them, 6 days. Then he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and declared it holy. Sabbath was a practice to reform Israel away from slavery into freedom. So remember, Israel rescued from Egypt, and God saying, you don't even know how to be my people. You don't even know how to be my ambassadors or the people of God or the expression of my love and my grace and my justice and my truth. And so one of the things I'm going to actually give you to do that is Sabbath. Sabbath is actually going to help you begin to move from still being slaves. Oh, but God, we're not slaves anymore. We're out of Egypt. They're not our masters anymore. He's like, oh, no. But you're still captives in your soul. You're still enslaved in your soul. So Sabbath is going to help you move from slavery into peace, into freedom. Sabbath, as John Mark Comer says, is a 24-hour period of stopping. And sometimes we actually just stop there, right? Stop. Sabbath is just stopping and being lazy. No. He says stopping, delighting, resting, and worship. Stopping, delighting, resting, and worship. For God, think about the 10 Commandments. For God, Sabbath made his top 10 list along with don't murder somebody. Right? So it's like, okay, hey, raise your hand. Everyone this past weekend, no one murdered anyone? Fantastic. How about Sabbath? Did anyone so it's like, whoa, but we've obviously elevated not murdering someone. That's good, fantastic. But for God, it made his top 10. It said, in order for you to understand what I value most, in order for you to live in the kingdom of God as members of that kingdom, and to understand my relationship with you and your relationship with other people, Sabbath is part of that. It's part of it. Sabbath is a weekly opportunity to unwind our souls and receive the blessing of life. Jesus actually says there's a such thing as the blessing of life, the abundant life, the connected or the abiding life. Sabbath is part of that. We unwind our souls and we receive the blessing of life. We cannot outwork our bodies, right? But most people in their 20s and their 30s, they've built rhythms and they believe I can outwork my body. I can keep going. We either choose to Sabbath with intentionality and purpose, or we are forced to Sabbath out of brokenness and desperation. And then ultimately, it's not actually Sabbath. It's not delight. It's not rest. It's not unwinding. It's not receiving the blessing of life. So how to Sabbath, okay? How to Sabbath. First of all, I just want to say this looks different for everyone. This is not a list of do's and don'ts. This is not a one-size-fits-all. This also is an ever-changing and ever-evolving thing, I believe, depending on your season of life. So where do you start? Well, you start small. Same thing, we talked about silence and solitude with Tanner. Like, where do you start? Well, don't start with 2 hours. All right, 2 hours, go. Silence and solitude. You're going to go insane, right? There's a detox that has to happen. Literally, a detox that has to happen. Like a drug addict trying to get off of drugs, or an alcoholic trying to wean himself off of alcohol. There's this process where you go through and you begin to take small steps to understand what it actually means to stop, to rest, to delight, and to worship. Start small and pick a specific time. Okay? What else? Answer the question, what brings me rest and joy? Truly rest and joy. Right? So, I've talked to some people and it's like, yeah, on Sabbath, I watch a lot of Netflix or I play video games. And then my next question is, when you're done doing that, do you feel at rest? Does your soul feel restful? No. And that's not Sabbath. That's just being lazy and disconnecting from the world. That's avoidance. It's not Sabbath. What brings you rest and joy? What leads you to worship? Right? All of us, we're unique beings. All of us engage with our Creator differently, and different things bring us into a place of worship differently. What is that? Well, whatever it is, do that. Do those things. Put those things in your Sabbath. Try to start with a meal. And okay, let's just start with a meal. Or do something fun. Limit technology. Ultimately, be flexible, try things, and give yourself grace. You have permission to give yourself grace that you're not going to get it right. Because guess what? The world and our culture, the cultural assumptions are that either you don't need Sabbath, or what it means is you just emotionally disconnect from the worries of this world, and then you do it all again the following week. So I'll just real quick, here's what Sabbath looks like for the club family in this season. It will change, and you probably can't do what we do, but we figured it out. We tried this. So on Friday, 5 p.m., my phone goes on, iPhones have the focus feature. So I put this focus feature at 5 p.m. every Friday. It goes on Sabbath, which means it turns off all alerts and notifications except ESPN. I'm just kidding, including ESPN, okay? Actually, the only notification that comes in is Casey's, which doesn't make sense because she's always with me in Sabbath. Anyways, whatever, it just makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. At 5 p.m., the club family, Casey and I and our 3 kids, we have pizza. And we switch it up. We do Domino's, we do mellow mushroom if we're feeling extra bougie and don't care about our finances. Rivermont, Papa John's, and there's JoJo's, I think, and Blaze. We switch it up. We try new pizzas, right? We just try new pizzas. And then, we have, the kids have pizza and juice, right? And then mom and dad have pizza and juice, okay? And then after dinner, we watch a movie. So we watch a movie as a family, and so the kids pick out the movie, and we sit on the couch when we watch a movie together. I'll be honest, 90% of the time I fall asleep about halfway through because it's a movie I've already seen, and we all know I don't do movies that I've already seen, so I fall asleep, and eventually I wake up, and it's like, oh, yes, they got saved, or they, whatever. So that's we watch a movie, and then the kids, we put the kids down to bed. They actually have a sleepover, so they all sleep in the same room. So they put all their sleeping bags, they sleep on the floor, and it's like something that it's this ritual they have. Well, the fascinating thing happens because we do this. Casey and I are actually home together on a Friday night. So guess what we get to do? We get to have a date night. And so because we already watched a movie, we feel like we can't watch another movie or watch more shows, right? So we actually have to talk. And so like we play games together, we read, we engage in this revolutionary thing called conversation, and it's beautiful. And so that's like Friday night. And so Saturday morning, we wake up and we go outside. Like for us, I feel close to God and am in a state of worship when I'm outside. So we usually go hiking as a family. We got a lot of cool hiking places in the area. We take our bikes or scooters or the little balance things. I don't know what they're called, but anyways. So we go to some like abandoned parking lot somewhere, and we just ride around. We do that all morning typically. We're out there. We're just present. We're outside. We come back. For lunch, we always do leftovers. One of the things on Sabbath is we don't go like window shopping, or we don't buy anything. Because Sabbath, we want to know that we have everything we need, that God has provided. And so we don't go to any stores, we don't buy anything. We just, like, usually it's leftover pizza. If we don't have any other pizza, we just kind of like say, okay, what do we have already in the house? Because God's been so richly blessed us, and we consume what we already have. After lunch, we have rest time. It was nap time when our kids were younger. Now it's just rest time. Don't say nap because they're too old for naps. And so they have to get a book. And they have to sit there with a book, either look through pictures, or for Allie and Jax, they can read. And so then Casey and I get to read. Maybe we fall in and out of, a nap. And then after rest time, we usually play a game together. Like we like board games, and so we'll play a game together as a family. And then guess what? Saturday at 5 p.m., our Sabbath is over, and we start to, yell at each other and be ugly and hateful. I'm just kidding. It's over at 5 p.m. There's nothing magical about that. It just helps us get into this rhythm. And we've been doing it for a few years, and it's been so amazing, life-giving. And when we don't have it, like this 4-week period, literally Casey and I were sitting there last night, we're like, man, we miss it. And my kids, guess what? They may not know the full implications of Sabbath, but my kids look forward to Sabbath every week. Like a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old are beginning to learn what it means to live from peace and live from rest. We don't do it perfect, and it's not going to look like the same for you, but you can figure it out. You can experiment, you can try, and give yourself grace, because you're going to have 4 weeks where you are sprinting, but you're going to sprint differently in those seasons because you're living from Sabbath, from peace, from rest. Okay? Now, an aspect of Sabbath, which is related, is slowing down. Slowing down. I hate this one. Cultivating patience by deliberately choosing to place ourselves in positions where we simply have to wait. Slowing down. Hurry, the idea of hurry is another natural cap to our spiritual growth and development. It is. Think about how hurry affects us prioritizing our presence with Jesus. Think about how hurry affects our ability to connect with other image bearers and to, in moments, hear God's voice and to actually be ministering to other people. But yet we're always on to the next, right? Think about, what do you do when you are in line at Starbucks? You have to wait there, or in your line waiting to check out or whatever. Phone out of pocket, open up, and then do you guys, like me, have your natural progression of apps you work through? Oof. Is that too personal? And it's like, anyway, I'm not even going to admit mine, okay? But anyways, you have yours too, okay? Slowing down. The practice of slowing down is active resistance against hustle, speed, and hurry of our culture. Now, our culture, right? There are some cultures where slowing down is actually normal. And they may have to actually practice stewardship of time and productivity to some degree, right? Maybe they're just like lazy, right? But for us, generally speaking, there's this practice and habit of slowing down, an active resistance against hustle, speed, and hurry. You know, the fascinating thing with Jesus, the kingdom of God is not hurried. Jesus was not hurried. John Ortberg says this, I cannot live in the kingdom of God with a hurried soul. I cannot live in the kingdom of God fully present with a hurried soul. I cannot rest in God with a hurried soul. Trying to rest in God with a hurried soul is like, okay, all right, God, I'm going to spend time with you. All right, hurry up. Come on. Where are you, God? I got to get to this thing, and there's this thing, and there's this thing. All right, God, come on. All right, 30 seconds, I'm out, right? And then we go on to our next thing. Practical ways to slow down. Okay, drive the speed limit. I'm not kidding. That was in my notes. No, drive the speed limit. Okay. Wait in line without looking at your phone. Wait in line without looking at your phone. Walk in the hallway or in the store and look around. Walk slowly. Like, be present. Like, look around. It's honestly, my natural inclination is to walk really fast, because I'm getting to my next thing, because I know what after that next thing is, and it's like boom, boom, boom. And I literally have to stop myself and say, whoa, slow down. Look around. Whoa, there's people. Image bearers. That God may actually want to use me, or God may actually want to use them to speak into my life. But I just whoosh right past them. Wake up early to pause before rushing off. How many of us does hurry actually start our day? Hurry is the start of our day, right? But what would happen if we actually woke up a little bit earlier to allow kind of slowing down to be the way we start? And then finally walk slowly, which I already talked about.